Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, the Season 2 Reloaded update dropped in Modern Warfare 3 in Warzone. It does require a full-on title update, the 1.40 update. On PlayStation, it's around 20 gigs. It should be similar to that size on other platforms as well, depending on what all you have installed. But of course, with a major update, we do have new patch notes out across the board for multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. So today, we're breaking all of it down. If you enjoy the video as we do so, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you are new to the channel or you simply have not subscribed yet, every single day I'm your one-stop shop for news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns, everything going on in COD is right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. Let's get started with the MW3 patch notes first. So initially here in terms of content, we've talked about this a lot in some of the previous videos, breaking down the reveals and everything, but we've got Das Haus, the return of this from Vanguard as the 6v6 map, Skid Row, which is reimagined Skid Row, and Airborne, which is reimagined Terminal for the Decays event. We've got a SOA Subverter battle rifle dropping and a Soul Render melee weapon dropping. A couple of new aftermarket parts will be coming up in the upcoming weeks, some new modes in Bounty and Juggermosh, a couple of new events as well. Global gameplay updates here, so this applies to Warzone as well. Upon aiming down sights, the crosshair will now transition directly to the center of the player's screen rather than easing into position. This change continues our improvements to the precision and responsiveness of aiming in Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone. Please continue to share your feedback. So again, just making it a little bit more easy to snap on from AD into that ADS transition essentially there. For customization updates, resolved an issue causing blueprints to be less transparent than intended, so a visual bug with those, adjusted the colors of various blueprints as well. Music from the Hans Zimmer MW2 pack will now play correctly. They resolved an issue in Gunsmith in which camos were not previewing properly and improved coverage of the Dissolver camo on certain weapons. And multiplayer specific stuff here, new features. Added the ability to filter attachments by subcategories. I like that. So optics, you can look at all of the hybrids or all of the 2.5s or all of the reflexes. That's pretty solid there. For muzzles, you can sort by breachers, suppressors, compensators, underbarrels. You can do hand stops, bipods, so on and so forth. That's a cool QL update. Added the ability to track up to 5 challenges to view outside of the challenge menu. Track challenges will appear on the pause menu. That's really cool as well. Added a mark all red button in the social notification center. For bug fixes, they added the favorites button, or added to the favorites button will no longer appear for locked emblems. Calling cards unlockable only in MW2 will now state this. In free for all, the local player will no longer appear as the enemy in the feed. In gunfight, placeholder images will no longer appear in the kill cam. Players can now quick equip content from the view new content menu. And snipers only restrictions are now present for weapons that are not snipers. Fixed a bug that prevented weapon level from displaying in the gunsmith, and several inaccuracies with weapon attachment descriptions have been resolved. Some solid updates there. For progression, several fixes are out now for Season 2 weekly challenges that weren't tracking correctly. Weapons in semi-auto fire mode will now properly progress associated challenges as well. For maps on Scrapyard, they refined the playable area around the helipad. On shipments, shipments will permanently replace standard shipment, so there's not going to be normal shipment, it's only going to be Christmas shipment now. Kind of interesting. Vista, they set the factions to Spetsnaz and Rangers. On Dome, they added a pool, added to the pool of available maps in Quick Play, so you'll be able to play that there now. They made several different changes to Operation Tin Man, our new war map, obviously, with Season 2. Some more niche stuff there for the most part. In modes, in Gun Game, they adjusted an issue where you couldn't get a weapon sometimes. In Headquarters, they fixed an issue where enemies were allowed to capture a contested headquarters spot in hardcore specifically, so very niche there. And then on training course and private match, using a cruise missile will no longer halt course progression. Kind of interesting. We then get into the weapon and attachment updates. We'll have to see on the Warzone notes to see if these are universal, but as of now, these are meant for multiplayer. They increased the hipfire spread on the BP50, and that's for the maximum and minimum. Increase the tack stance spread as well, so making it less accurate there. Increase the ADS time though. Decrease the ADS movement speed. Increase the horizontal recoil, decrease the vertical recoil. So they're basically just making the BP50 a little bit more difficult to use, and it's not going to be as snappy and aggressive now there. On the heavy stock, they increased the recoil gun kick benefit. On the Moat 40 stock, they nerfed the ADS time. That's a bit of a bummer. These changes ensure the BP50 remains a strong competitive option while aligning it better with some other counterparts. That makes sense. Like, the BP50 was really, really good, especially for like tack stands and whatnot. So they're justifiable nerfs, but it was so fun to use because it was so strong. On the SVA, they they decrease the sprint to fire time and the ADS time. That's solid there, makes that more aggressive. The Bass B, they decrease the maximum damage by 1, that's its close range damage, decrease the near to medium damage, decrease the maximum damage range, and decrease the near to medium damage range. Within the near to medium damage range, the Bass B is now a 4-shot kill to the torso and above, so just limiting its close range potential there. It's still good for like mid to long range though. On the Sidewinder, they decrease the recoil intensely during sustained fire, so that's another buff basically to the Sidewinder's recoil, which is already pretty easy if I'm being honest. The A90 Venom stock, they decrease the recoil gun kick penalty. The Rapid Strike grip increase the ADS time benefit and decrease the control penalty. On the MTZ-762, the Jack Carbine kit, they decreased the horizontal recoil but gave it more vertical recoil. Also, certain underbarrel attachments are no longer available there either. No mention of the 40-round mag though. On SMGs, the Ram 9 on the short barrel, they decrease the ADS speed penalty and increase the recoil benefits that you get from that. On the light barrel, they increase the range benefit and the velocity benefit, so that's a bit more versatile now. And on the suppressed barrel, they decrease the velocity penalty and the range penalty, so all these barrels got buffed basically. On the Jack Etten double barrel kit on the AMR9, bullets are now fired in a vertical column, so that just makes that more predictable. That's solid to make that a bit more competitive there. For the Wasp 9, they decrease the minimum standing hipfire spread and the maximum standing hipfire spread, and also decrease the tack stance spread a little bit. On the Rival 9 conversion kit, increase the near to medium damage range by about 15 meters. That's actually really solid. The P90 from MW2 is actually getting an update. They improved the alignment of the iron sight optic. On the Lockman sub from MW2, increase the maximum damage range by a decent amount, increase the near to medium damage range, increase the medium damage range, and increase the far to medium damage range. Most notably, the 5-shot kill damage range has been increased to 20 meters. Additionally, within the max damage range, 1 headshot now results in a 4-shot kill. MP5 from MW2 might actually be decently competitive in multiplayer now. That's nice to see. For shotties, the 680 barrel attachments, damage pellet count now remains at 6 regardless of your ammo capacity. On the Pelum Yacht, they increased the strength of the idle sway. Interesting. And on the Bullpup kit, the velocity just got even worse, so that's a bit of a bummer there. On the Bruin, they decreased the ADS time. That's kind of surprising. Increased the lower torso multiplier, the movement speed, the crouch movement speed, the tack sprint speed, and the ADS speed. So decent buffs to the Bruin across the board, and I already love it, so I'm happy to see that. On the Stalker, added a new optic with the iron sights via the armory unlock, so you'll have to manually go through and go for that challenge. Hopefully the armory is actually fixed now. They also decreased the ADS time a bit, so that's solid. On the Cat, they also decreased the ADS time, and they increased the ADS time on the SPX-80, so they just don't want you using that much, I guess. On the Core 45 conversion kit, they increased the velocity a little bit. That's solid. On the Renetti conversion kit, they resolved an issue with camos there, and also detailed stats in the gunsmith will now be more correct there. On the 9mm Damon rear grip, they also added a missing pistol fast draw benefit. On the Storm Ender, EMP effects will now properly apply to enemies for all free-for-all modes. In attachments here, the hybrid optics incompatible attachments will no longer be equipped on MW2 shotguns. Underbarrel launchers, they fixed an exploit there that hackers were taking advantage of, where you could fire infinite underbarrel launchers. On the Jack Limb Ripper, they increased the movement speed while revving by 25%. Nice. Increased the damage range a little bit. That's kind of interesting. Increased the damage in general as well. Players no longer damage themselves in free-for-all modes. And they resolved the compatibility issue as well. With equipment here, stuns, they resolved an issue where the stun effects weren't actually hitting. You could still run full speed forwards and back. You just couldn't look around, so those will now work as intended. They also made some slight changes to the EMP as well, so different UI elements there to better communicate when you're actually being tracked. Track enemies now appear as a constant ping on the minimap as well. The ACS, they improved its detection near flags, so it's just going to work a little bit better there. Cluster mines, they resolved an issue that prevented players from deploying it. And the remote turret, players with the tap to interact option can no longer become unable to reload their gun if that's active there. For ranked play, they also restricted the soul render and the Rhino modular rig vest as well. For bug fixes, they addressed an issue that prevented players from earning SR after completing a match, then also an issue that prevented the top 250 camo from animating there as well. We then get into our zombie specific updates here. We've got a new story mission, a new Dark Ether Rift that I believe takes us to Al Mazrah actually. There's also new acquisitions and schematics in the form of mags of holding, which make it so you don't have to reload, the blood burner key so you can get the motorcycle right away, then also the VR11 Wonder Weapon schematic there. Containment levels. Season 2 Reloaded introduces containment levels, a new tiered exfil streak, which is immediately available. So complete contracts and successfully exfil to increase your containment level. So this is the basic extraction tiers that we have had leaked for some time. They're now fully in the game, so this is pretty cool. So you extract once, you get to start with 500 essence. You get different bonuses for this. So 5 armor plates, 1,000 essence, a discount on Perca-Cola, even more essence, a bonus for contract essence rewards, mystery box discount, pack-a-punch discount. That's actually really cool there. We do also have a new warlord, Kiers, up at Orlov military base that is based around gas traps. They address multiple instances of contracts spawning in warlord strongholds. The Grey Lorm will no longer follow players to the final exfil helicopter. Address multiple instances where zombies will be unable to target or follow a player. In Terminus outcomes, defeating a warlord now grants a guaranteed wonder weapon case. Kiers has arrived again. That'll be a week-long spotlight for the start of Season 2 Reloaded. Hellhounds players can no longer activate a dog bone while in water. New weapons introduced in Season 2 have been added to the loot pool. So lockers, crates, mystery box, so on and so forth there. The SMGs for the Ram 9 decreased the critical hit damage when pack-a-punched. And then also on the Basilisk, they adjusted an issue that prevented players from getting certain blueprints there. They closed an exploit that allowed players to become invulnerable while using the Jug kill streak. Addressed an issue where contract UI elements would disappear at times, and added various crash and stability fixes. Now let's head over to the Warzone patch notes. So here again, we've got our global updates of the new events. For Fortune's Keep, the research vessel mobile point of interest is now live. This will go around the map and then ultimately dock at one spot. We've talked about this in previous videos. Very cool POI. I'm excited to explore it. Vandal Battle Royale, brand new mode. Okay. Vandal now offers Battle Royale with 72 players. This mode brings fresh pacing and makes for a great addition. There's also going to be a new Champions quest for it too, so that's very fun. While the quest remains similar in nature, this version will come with its own unique elements. Victories on both maps will count towards Champions quest progress. Successfully completing the mission will award players the same items. So same rewards, same tracking, just 2 different maps to do it on. You can sort of pick your poison there. That's really cool. We got our playlist update previews all the way through April 3rd when Season 3 is going to drop. That's pretty solid. Starting today, we've got ranked play trios on Fortune's Keep, plunder quads on Urzikstan, solos, duos, and quads on Battle Royale Urzikstan, trios on Vondel for the nuke contract, resurgence, solos on Fortune's Keep, duos on Urzikstan POI rotation, trios on Vondel, quads on Ashika Island. Ashika is finally back. For weapons, we obviously have the brand new Subverter. We've got the Soul Render, new aftermarket parts as we mentioned earlier, the same ADS update there with the crosshairs that we mentioned in the multiplayer section. Now actual weapon changes for rifles, the MCW, near to mid damage buffed, mid damage also buffed there, so the MCW will be a little bit stronger in the close in the mid range there. On the Holger 556, the max damage, aka its close range damage, was also buffed, and its range was buffed there in that first damage range. Near to mid damage now has a new set variable. Near to mid damage range also has a new set variable, so some different changes to the Holger. The BP50 got a lot of updates here. Max damage was actually nerfed, so its close range is not going to be as good anymore. Near to mid damage was also nerfed, so maybe that sniper support BP50 build not as viable, which is a bit unfortunate. Increase the maximum hipfire spread and the minimum hipfire spreads. Again, increase the tac stance spread as well. Also nerfed the ADS time, the ADS movement speed. The horizontal recoil is worse, the vertical recoil is better. So basically the same changes as multiplayer here. Definitely not going to be as versatile of a rifle. Should still be decent, especially over long range where it has one of the better TTKs in the class, but for like sniper support in the mid range, it won't be as dominant now. The SVA also got better ADS time and sprint to fire time, so that's solid. The Ram 7's max damage range has been decreased a little bit, so that's actually nerfing its ability to be really dominant in the sniper support area. Kind of a solid nerf there to bring that more in line with some other options for sure. For battle rifles, the MTZ-762, max damage was nerfed, its minimum damage was nerfed, so the TTK across the board on the MTZ-762 is a lot worse now. Neck modifier was also nerfed, lower torso modifier was nerfed, headshot damage modifier was nerfed, near to mid damage range was nerfed. Then on the carbine kit, they made the same changes to the recoil control. So MTZ-762 definitely is a lot worse this with this update, and with its magazine capacity, that probably knocks it out of being like just a phenomenal weapon and super fast TTK choice. The Bass B, they made an update to the Outlaw kit, which is going to be coming in a couple of weeks time. I'm not sure why they made changes to it already. That's kind of weird. The Sidewinder, they decreased the recoil intensity during sustained fire slightly, so again, a buff there. The Venom stock has a decreased recoil penalty. The Rapid Strike grip increased ADS time benefit, decreased control penalty there, so buffs to those attachments. adjustments. On the AMR9 jacket and double barrel kit, same deal. It's now fired in a vertical column. The Ram 9 barrels all got buffed here as well. Same deals over in multiplayer. So the short barrel got a buff. The Imperator light barrel got a buff. The suppressed barrel also got a buff there too. Wasp 9, they'd made the changes to the hip fire spread and decreased the tack stand spread as well there. The Headhunter kit on the Rival 9 also got that buff to its near to mid damage range. Not super practical as like a sniper support. It's something you could try and mess around with, but I don't think it's truly like an incredible option. We'll have to see on the full stats though there. P90 also fixed the iron sight from MW2. On the Lockwood 680 barrel attachment, same deal here. Damage pellet count now remains at 6 regardless of ammo capacity. On the LMGs, the Bruin, this is what I'm really interested in. So lower torso modifier was buffed. They decreased the ADS time, increased the movement speed, crouch speed, tack sprint speed, ADS strafe speed. All buffs to the Bruin, and this really is going to be a solid LMG choice. Now, you guys might have seen the videos the past couple of days. I already had it as the #1 LMG. This now makes it even better. I'm very excited about that. The Pulamyot, they increased the strength of the idle sway and decreased the velocity on the bullpup kit. That's just not worth using anymore whatsoever. On the Stalker, they decreased the ADS time. Same deal on the Cat, but they actually nerfed the ADS time on the SPX-80 again. On the Renetti Carbine kit, max damage was actually buffed a little bit. So was the minimum damage. I don't think that's going to be super competitive as a close range option, but it's nice to see it buffed. On the Core 45 conversion kit, it's got better velocity now. The tier near and mid damage range was also buffed a little bit. The Damon rear grip handguard was updated there for fast draw. Then also on Wonder Weapons, on the Wonder Waff, the splash damage was buffed. The projectile explosion radius was also buffed. Same deal with the projectile speed. Players directly impacted by this are no longer forced to fire. Allowed tick damage effect to stack. Adjusted the ADS and hip fire sway and fixed an issue with the ADS FOV there. They fixed the underbarrel launcher exploit there where you could infinitely spam those. And then they also updated the Limb Ripper a little bit with its movement speed and damage range. Now, general updates here. They boosted the Ascender audio distance by 16 feet and the parachute distances by 100 feet. The overall volume of reviving a teammate has been increased. A new unique sound has been added for reviving a player so that it's significantly more noticeable. That's solid. Sometimes you'd hear revives go off, or you'd see a revive go off and not hear anything, and it's like, okay, well, that was strange. Or at times when you can't get a visual on them, you don't know if they're being revived. Reviving a teammate using a medic vest now also has unique audio cues, so that's pretty solid. Final elimination cam, a kill cam, has been added to showcase the final elimination of a match across most modes, just not in lockdown or plunder. So there's a final kill cam in Warzone now. Resurgence combat records are now live too, so there's been a lot of questions about these. Nice to see that updated. Some new features, we've got the decontamination station, of course. Buy station's secondary weapons, you can now access your secondary weapons in the buy station. Love that. I don't have to make sure I have every weapon in a certain spot in my loadout so I can get it in game if I need. The bunker buster kill streak is now live on Fortune's Keep, of course. That goes through multiple floors of a building. We got new pre-match lobby loadouts. Players can now instantly swap loadouts in the pre-match lobby rather than having to respawn. That's solid. Significant improvements have been made to the top and bottom shelf auto looting system. Players can now expect a more consistent and predictable auto pickup range for loot there. Audio improvements, the overall volume of revive. Okay, so that's the same audio stuff that we just covered there. Backpack auto refill, field upgrades, kill streaks, tactical and lethal equipment. Now, auto-equip if identical items are found in the backpack. That's cool. If not, the next closest non-identical item will auto-equip instead. A flare will now appear when a player respawns via a redeploy pack. Minimap vehicles increase the distance at which they actually show on the minimap, so it's not like, hey, I hear a truck, where is it? Oh, I'm run over because I never saw it on the minimap. That won't happen now. They also reduced the most wanted contract time in Resurgence a little bit. Loot adjustments on Resurgence for Fortune's Keep. Kill streak spawns have been reduced by 30%. A maximum of 1 kill streak will spawn in base and legendary caches. Supply boxes will now spawn more armor plates. That's solid there. On Urzikstan Plunder, with cash, interacting with the cash depot helipad will now take priority over any loot. With equipment here, throwing knives, they reduce the damage to 175 down from 200, so not going to see as many consistent one-shot knives or anything like that in some cases. Throwing knife will one-shot with impacts to the head or if used on a down player, so if you do get a headshot with a throwing knife, it doesn't matter what their health is, it'll always be a one-shot knock. Frag damage, the mid damage was reduced and the outer damage was reduced there, so the frag gets a slight nerf. Battle Rage removed a reference in Battle Rage description about regenerating health. That's just not a thing there. Stuns, they fixed the issue with the movement there. EMD changes, same deal as what we saw over in multiplayer. Quick fix, a minor update to the description with that. With ranked play, all thermals are now restricted as previously intended, and then final SR has been adjusted a little bit there, so you'll get different SR now for placing in the top 12, 8, 5, 3, and victory, of course. Also, proximity chat is disabled there as well. For UI and UX, exfil player card, players can now see their player card, which includes emblems and their general gamer tag in the exfil cinematic. Deployable buy station icons will now show above other icons in the tac map for better visibility. We also have plenty of bug fixes here, so we're going to rapid fire these. Fix various collision issues on Fortune's Keep. Fix an issue that allowed players to prevent a new weapon from appearing in the backpack inventory if it was picked up while replacing armor plates. Fix descriptions on some tactical equipment. Several interface issues when a player respawns after dying near the end of a jailbreak public event. An issue that allowed bomb drones to down friendly players. Interesting. An issue causing several ground loot Ram 9 rarities to be missing an attachment. An issue where the end of the match names were scrolling from too low on the screen. An issue that allowed players to duplicate equipment. An issue preventing players from spawning after using the rejoin feature in Resurgence. An issue causing the backup pistol to get stuck when using a kill streak. An issue allowing players to duplicate plate carriers, an issue causing a crash when attempting to rejoin, an issue causing custom perk packs to disappear when attempting to stow them, an issue causing a player to not appear on the minimap for teammates after a jailbreak, and an issue allowing players to keep the backup pistol out of the water. And that concludes all of these Season 2 Reloaded patch notes. Honestly, some solid ones across the board, some decent meta changes, nothing too significant, but some changes nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Solid update, W or L? Would love to get your opinion, but that's going to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out to always guarantee you're up to date with everything going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.